All right. Good evening, everyone. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Italy. She's very special, one of my fellow coaches and speakers. She is Amber Katrina. Katrina is an unconventional, down to earth, often underground coach, helping targeted individuals take their lives back, going from helpless victims of workplace bullying and other forms of abuse to thriving survivors experiencing joy, purpose, and fulfillment in their lives. So that's Amber Katrina for us. Over to you, Amber. I'm hugely excited to have you here today uh, with Infinite Academy. So over to you.
Thank you so much. Being mainly India, your audience, namaste, beautiful people, stealing that from Raya. It is such an honor and pleasure to be here, to be reconnecting with you like this. It was like incredible how in June, beginning of June, we were on Clubhouse together, we were talking, and then all of a sudden you said, hey, I have to go to an interview. And I asked you, what interview? You said, here, I'll share the link. And so I got to be on that fantastic interview you had on Positive Thoughts, I think the name is, by Mr. Sharma. And like that day, that week, I was really frustrated almost because I did not know how to help certain people who were showing up in my groups on workplace bullying, lots of ladies from India who are living all over the world, who are experiencing workplace bullying that they just do not know how to handle because it's something that's so beyond their way of thinking, which is, it's not that workplace bullying does not exist in India. I mean, it exists all over the world. Bullying is nothing new to our history. But that day, hearing you talk about your experience was just like, yes, this is the kind of mindset, the kind of help that most people going through workplace bullying really need to hear. It's so easy for us when we are targeted by everyone around us. We don't understand why we are being abused like this. We are really good at what we do. We are ready to help others. We are doing the best we can, and yet we are constantly being put down. And here's the thing. Most, like, if you are any good at anything, you will be attacked. That is one thing we have to start understanding, because back in the day when there was not so much political correctness put into place, we could kind of like vent our problems, our work problems differently, and now, or any kind of problem differently. And nowadays it's like this vicious cycle. Like there's the bullying in the workplace, you take it home to your family, and then someone in the family bullies someone else because you have loaded it on them. We know how this game plays out, and it is absolutely terrifying. Plus, it is practically, one psychiatrist in America said that it is terrorism. It is, there's domestic terrorism and there's workplace terrorism. So I was thinking, how can I best serve your academy today? We all know pretty much what workplace bullying is, how it plays out. What we are missing is the tools to actually take charge and get our lives back. Because across the whole world, one thing I've noticed in these last 6 years is that all of the solutions that we are getting proposed with, go into psychotherapy, take this pill for your anxiety. All of that is not helping solve the problem. So there's 3 steps and one tool which I keep proposing for everyone. And then that's like the basics. And then there is the level up that you can do accordingly. Then each person is different. The first thing we need to know is exactly who we are at our core. And that was actually the one thing that helped me to suddenly realize that what was happening in my workplace, because I was bullied like crazy for 9 years. And at first I never understood that it was workplace bullying. I actually thought that the accusations were real. I kept thinking, no, I have to become better. I have to do better. I have to be a better team player. And here I'm striving, and the intent of these people is to continually bring you down. They don't care how good you are. The better you are, the more they will try to harm you on that. The bully, like a narcissist, is always attacking your self-esteem. And the one thing that inspired me so much, Sadhna, is how your father, when you were a child and your family was in a situation that we can compare to bullying, workplace bullying, and any kind of bullying, how he chose not to focus on the fear, not to focus on the possibility of failure, but to focus on where to go, who you are inside and where to go. And he led you and your family down that path. And that is what we need so much all around the world to be doing, to start learning, to take pride in who we are, know exactly who we are. And that means our bad as much as our good. Why our bad? Because I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Bullies are always going after your self-esteem and are always trying to make you look like a fool. So if the bully is going to compliment you, where is the bully going to compliment you? He's usually going to compliment you where you are actually not doing so good. He's going to applaud where you are actually failing. He's going to set you up for failure by making you think that you're good at something. Very often the bully is not the one who's yelling. Very often the bully is the one pretending to be your best friend. So you have to know who you are. You have to know you're good. You have to know you're bad. And that way, when they come flattering you, for example, there was this one guy, I was singing a karaoke. And I know when I mess up, I hit a really bad tone. And he complimented me. Oh, you sang so wonderfully. Now, from anyone else, it would have been a compliment. From him, who was a famous singer in Italy, that was not a compliment. That was an insult to my intelligence. I know when I sing off key. So why are you complimenting me when you should be saying, hey, you know, you need to level up here. A good friend, a good co-worker is going to help you level up without bashing you to pieces. So by knowing that flattery, you don't have to respond negatively to flattery when someone comes, oh, how good you are at doing this, when they're, ha, 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 she's actually messing up, right? You don't have to respond to that. You can just take mental note of it. And that way you don't fall for the trap. You're like, okay, this person is always complimenting me when I mess up. So this person is not my friend. Am I going to be that person's enemy because that person has chosen to be my enemy? That is another very important question we have to make, because the next step from knowing who you are is also knowing what you stand for. Know, who am I? What will I bring to this world? Am I going to bring even more hurt? Because hurt people, so that's the perfect excuse. I'm hurt, so I can get away with hurting other people. Is that going to be your excuse? Or are you going to say, wait a minute, Just because you choose to behave like this does not make me have to choose to react to that. So I get to define where I am going. So when you can shift the perspective, it sounds easy. It's hard as hell. This is like walking through the flames of hell because you're being attacked on every side, and choosing to stand up tall and even lift up, reach out a hand to lift up your enemy, even when they are going out of their way to harm you. That is one of the hardest things you can do. And if you can overcome the urge to like kick your enemy in the face when he's down, right? Which is what they will do to you. Make no mistake, they will. But if you can overcome that, then you are stepping into leadership. And that is where you can take your life back. Not by taking pills for your anxiety. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is happening to me. How am I going to survive this? It's scary. Like, if you need to take the pill for your anxiety, sure, take your pill for your anxiety when you go into work. Something else you can do is power pose before you go into work. Like, if you stand up tall, hips on your hand on your hips like Wonder Woman, and stare into this 5 minutes, stare into the distance before going into work. And you can power pose inside the workplace as often as you want. No one will notice. You can simply like just, I'm stretching, you're power posing. Or you go to the bathroom and you hold your arms up like this in the bathroom for a couple of minutes, right? Like, to recharge. You find all of these little tricks to like recharge yourself. And at the same time, though, you are building yourself up, your focus, who I choose to be. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to lift up today? Who are you going to help? One of the people who most inspired me at that same workplace where I was bullied was a colleague of mine. They had tricked her into doing something which was not exactly against the rules. However, they had been bullying her, targeting her for a very long time, and wanted to take her out. So they tricked her into this little mistake. Of course, when she showed the boss that it was a mistake, he gave her no pardon, removed her from her role, took away all of her, all she knew how to do everything, but he took her out of any role of importance and put her to do the least important of jobs. What I loved about her was that no matter how much they bullied her, she never, okay, she would talk back. She was like kind of like putting you in your place if you misbehaved. But if she knew how to do something, she would do it and not like make excuses not to. And the other thing was, she would teach you. If you didn't know how to do something, she would teach you how to do it. So you can be a leader even if you are the janitor. If you can encourage someone, if you can give someone a tip to make their life better, to get better results, you are creating another leader. And that's what true leadership is all about. We've been seeing that post recently on Facebook. It's been floating around Facebook and LinkedIn. I've seen it recently again. It says leadership is not about how many followers you have, it's about how many new leaders you can make. So if you choose to, instead of allow for the person's attacking you, you choose to use that as your mission. You turn those attacks on you into your mission, that you're not going to do this to anyone else. You're going to make other people better instead of making them bitter. And you're going to become better yourself. That's the third step. Become better, level up. Leveling up is so important. I had to change my whole way of communicating. And I'm still learning to change my way of communicating with people in order to overcome bullying. Because here's the thing, as I said before, if you are any good at anything, competition is coming for you, and there's nothing you can do about it because everyone wants to be the best. So if you are the best, someone's gonna come and try to steal your crown. So you cannot just like lay there like, ha, here I am with my crown, you know. You have to be able, you have to constantly be up leveling your game. It's kind of like a video game. I've kind of seen it. Does anyone here play video games? You can raise your hand with your kids or anything. Play video games with your kids. That's something really, really interesting. Number one, it's bonding. I used to play video games, Final Fantasy, with my son all the time. And you really learn a lot of life lessons through the video games. It's like every time you get good at something, all of a sudden there's a new big monster coming to attack you. And you're really good at this, and this is the new level monster. So you have to get even better in order to defeat this new monster and level up again. Okay, so that's the if you start looking at workplace bullying like a video game, and where you have to constantly level up, and you're in the game to win, right? You shift your focus. It's like there's no saying what you can do. The one thing that helped me to turn everything around, like start turning everything around, was having a professional mission statement. 2016, they had taken away all of my duties. Like I was head of the telephone team for Germany. It was 6 to 13, 14 people who I was like organizing, depending on the time of year, taking care of clients 360 degrees. Okay, you know, if you've worked in telephone team, like at the switchboard, you know what the fire is. It's like the fire from the clients, the fire from the colleagues, the fire from the bosses, and you have to keep everything moving, right? So I had this professional mission statement I had made for myself back in 1995. And the book I built it from was this, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. That was the one thing that I had kept updating year after year after year. Like I knew who I was based on that professional mission statement. It was only when I started showing my very private professional mission statement to my colleagues at work, and them sneering and jeering and mocking me for it, making fun of me for the things I believed in most and I was powering through the most for. I really wanted to have a good team play. I really wanted to uplift people, so much so that people who I mentored personally for 2 consecutive years were promoted to positions of leadership inside the company. So if you know who you are, you strive for something, that's going to keep you grounded. When people start making fun of stuff that you really believe in, and your actions are matching what you state, you really are working in accordance to what you state, that's where you're going to know, this is bullying. So that's what flipped my focus, and I'm like, no, I am going to make this place better. So then you come up with your plan. You don't have to share your plan with anyone. You work on your plan internally. You see things exactly how they are. We cannot keep duping ourselves into a fake form of positive thinking. Positive thinking has to be, like when you're being bullied, it has to be, see it exactly as it is. Actually, imagine the worst case scenario. And once you've imagined the worst case scenario, and worst case scenario is tricky because it's about connecting all the dots. Very often, workplace bullying is happening for a very specific reason. They want to get rid of you for some reason or other. You do not know if it is the colleague who is actively bullying it, if it is the ownership. You never really know the why of the bullying until you start connecting the dots. In my case, I am 90% sure that the true reason behind the bullying was that I was constantly telling people about God. I was constantly encouraging my colleagues. I was constantly encouraging even the clientele who was calling up. Like one man calls up, he's desperate because his wife passed away. And he just received postage from us, which reminds him of the beautiful times he spent with us here in Tuscany. That was with my firm. And so he's crying. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Do you want me to delete? He's like, no, keep the name. It's just like, I'm just so desperate. She just passed away. And like, so like, what do you do with someone who's crying over the telephone with you? Depending on company policies, you might have to cut it really short. However, how are you going to combine keeping that client for the company, even if the company is bullying you? How are you going to combine that with compassion, with true love for your fellow people? So my first response to him was, sir, do you believe in the Bible? Like, he's from Germany, so I'm thinking he's probably believes in the Bible, Protestantism and everything. Sir, do you believe in the Bible? Do you know the promises of God to resurrect your wife? And he thanks me for having spent those 2 minutes with him. Other colleagues, they're like one colleague's husband passed away. I was praying with this colleague. She asked me, Amber, could you please pray with me? Because you pray so well. So I realized that the true reason behind the bullying against me was my Christian belief. Now, it doesn't matter what religion you are, depending on the company where you are, you will probably get persecuted. Then they will make very sure not to let you know what the real reason behind their bullying is. So it's important that you start waking up, start noticing the connections between who is doing what to you and who they are related with, who are they are connected with. This is also to keep yourself safe, because nowadays with internet, workplace bullying is no longer just in the workplace. It follows you home. It follows you on your Facebook profile. It follows you in your social activities. It follows you all the way outside the post office where some crazy woman tries to run over you. Like, that's what happened to me. Crazy stuff. So when you connect the dots and you see the spider web, most people would be desperate. They're like, oh my God, I'm surrounded. You have the power when you can see this. Now, when you can see the worst case scenario, you are far from hopeless. You're probably not going to believe this. This is counterintuitive to everything that everyone has ever told you, to everything it feels like, because you feel surrounded. When you feel surrounded by enemies, it's yes, you are going to have your moments of despair. It's okay to be desperate. It's okay to cry your eyes out. It's okay. Feel it fully. Let it run through you. Go to your tent, you warrior of light. Go to your tent, lick your wounds, and then when you come back out, you come with the plan to make things even better than possible, and you keep that plan to yourself. You make a plan for yourself, and you make a plan for others to help others as well. Just recently, let's say a special friend asked me, Amber, why do you do things this way? I mean, nobody's showing up anymore. Why do you keep reaching out to help your enemies? People who hate you. And I said, because I am a Forrest Gump. I will keep running back into the burning forest to bring everyone who is on my team out. If they want to shoot me in the back, that's on them. I will keep being a Forrest Gump. So when you can develop for yourself and for the rest of your family, your company, like Sadhna's father did. If you haven't seen that interview, go watch it, go see it. It was like fabulous, just so inspiring. If you can come up with a bigger and better plan for your family, for your workplace, even if your workplace doesn't want it. This is where, like last week when we were talking about today, Sadhna said, how would you like to title the meeting? I said, oh, okay, let's talk about Archimedes' effect. Like, what has physics got to do with workplace bullying? So what does the principle of Archimedes say? That practically it's the rule of buoyancy, right? Practically any object which gets immersed in a fluid will displace an amount of fluid, will get pushed back equal in force and amount to the amount of fluid it displaces, right? So practically when you are going into any sort of environment, workplace, nowadays workplace bullying is also like between free professionals, like on peer-to-peer groups. Oh my God, don't get me started on that. Practically any environment you come into with a bigger, better plan, or just even idea of a bigger, better plan, or even just showing up and being you are displacing the fluids of that environment. So you are going to get the pushback. So either you accept the pushback and you stay floating on top of the water, or else you get out, or you choose to become so concentrated, so focused on what your goal is, that when you dive into that water, you hit the bottom. And when you reach the bottom, you can build the foundation to set the pillars to be putting the bridge to cross over that puddle, the marshes, whatever they are. So, as usual, I am afraid that my way of explaining myself is very chaotic. You probably will have to think about this 2 or 3 times, or think, gosh, Amber is not making any sense at all here. That is one of the reasons why I am very unconventional. Any questions are very welcome.
All right, that was wonderful, wonderful, Amber. Wonderful insight into bullying. Bullying has so many other, like it can be termed into so many other, ways. Emotional bullying, or verbal bullying, or you say professional bullying. There can be a number of bullying, like within our house, mother-in-law bullying the daughter-in-law. So many ways we can, understand bullying. But thank you so much. You set a great background for the topic, and of course, we can always build on this. Whatever you said, the Archimedes principle, we will go back and we will try and relate to the concept. Definitely, you've done a wonderful job today. Past 40 minutes that you are with me, it was wonderful. So let's have some discussion. I want all of you who are present to ask question if you may have any, and then we wind up. Or if you want to ask any general question about life, she's a life coach too, and she, mind you, it's not just bullying that she talks about. She talks about a whole lot of other subjects. She talks about negotiation. She talks about communication skills, and she talks about a lot of topics related to life. So they are all interrelated. So she has great knowledge base in a lot of things. So please go ahead and shoot your questions.
No questions. This is too much. Yes, about that.
Anita is there, who's going to ask a question.
Well, I think
Hello.
Deepashri
Hello,
wants to
Amber.
say something. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I want to say that it was so good your talk that there is a lot to reflect. So maybe the questions are not coming right away, but there are many questions, jumbled up.
Mhm.
Like actually, I have seen people.
I think she got
Frozen.
yeah. There's some network problem here. All right. So in the meanwhile, Vinsta, you can ask your question.
Well, I don't have any question as such, Amber. It was very insightful. Lot to reflect, as Deepashri was saying. Many times we don't realize, what's happening within our, work culture.
Yeah.
There are even when you perform well, but still you are not acknowledged. You are not acknowledged. So there, and we don't tend to give a thought to this because we are, somewhere down the line so engrossed in our work. Our work is, so much of priority that you always want to give your best, irrespective of, whatever the scenario or politics or bullying or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That you just want to do your work, and whether people acknowledge or not, the only satisfaction which you have is that, okay, at least at the end of the day you are giving your best.
Yes.
But yes, as you said, you need to connect the dots, you need to analyze, because so much of hard work when you're at workplace, when you're putting in so much of effort, you also need to that you realize that you get due acknowledgement. So yes, a lot to think, but somewhere down the line I also feel that I have this thought in my mind that why should I spend that time in introspecting about acha, what must have happened, what why did she didn't pay attention to my presentation throughout, or why didn't she say anything constructive, or she didn't show any interest in my suggestions or anything. So somewhere down the line, over this 15 to 16 years of experience in my teaching field, I'm from teaching field, I'm an educator. So I that I am not going to give a shit to what and how my colleagues are going to behave. My time with my kids is my best time, and I'm going to give my best for my kids, and that gives me real motivation. My energy doubles when I'm with my kids, and when I have to when I see them responding, when I see them taking in things in a right way, that is the motivation for me. So yes, over a period of time, what you say, I agree with you, but the life is has so many aspects to it. As a mother, I have to take care of certain things at home. As a wife, I need to take care of things. I have certain plans of shifting, or doing some home interior and things that I have no time for taking care of what people think or what people are planning behind my back, or if they care, or if they are going to give me a due acknowledgement for my work. So I don't.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that your focus is on taking care of your kids, and I love that your focus is absolutely on the right place. About the connecting the dots of who is saying what and doing what, we don't really need to give too much attention to that. All we have to do is like recognize, okay, this and this and this. Okay, 1 + 1 is 2. Period. Once you've recognized the pattern, you don't give it any more thought. Over this last year, there's been a situation where there's been certain people who have been playing this game behind the curtains with me. Okay. once I recognize, oh, 1 + 1 is 2, and here's the other triangle, and put them together, oh, that's where the spider web is. You know what's going on. You don't obsess about it. You stick to your job. What thing is important is you do have to acknowledge that something is going on. Because if you do not know what the enemy is doing, let's use tactics, the art of war. If you do not know what the enemy is doing, you will be walking into traps. So the only reason for you to be connecting the dots is to know where the traps are and avoid them. That is the only reason. You don't have to know all the details and everything. And I'm sure from what you said, you already know who the people are, and you know how to avoid those already. So that is great, absolutely. The one thing us women have, we have one small advantage over men, is that our minds are completely interconnected. Men only think one box at a time, so we can connect the dots much less effort
easier,
than a man does.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's a great advice, Amber. I would definitely, take that, and yes, we'll keep that in mind. That's important to be at least vigilant, be aware of, what's happening,
Yeah,
and just avoid, if you can.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sadna, you were saying before about the negotiation.
Yeah.
Negotiation practice, you do not need me to be learning any of this. You go find the book Never Split the Difference by ex-FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss.
I've seen him a lot on YouTube. Yes, I do, because I deal with this subject,
Yeah.
and those professionals, IT professionals who come and take coaching from me. So I borrow some principles from him, definitely.
Yeah. What I love about his techniques is this: they were designed to work with freeing hostages from sociopaths, psychopath, kidnappers. So what is a unaware narcissistic bully after all? A sociopath or a psychopath?
Yes.
Pretty much around that. So these tools work so good if you are with bullies. Those hostage negotiator conversational skills, let's call them like that, they work so good with bullies, because if you learn to put your ego aside and do what he calls an accusations audit, which is practically saying to the other person what they are going to think, what they already think ugly of you, it's like you go in, you see the bully there, they say, you probably think that my work is junk as usual, period, right? You've given them the accusation audit. You've said to them what they already think. You took away their bullet. They can't shoot you with, they cannot come and say, your work is junk, because you already said it. You probably think that my work is junk, period. It's fantastic. These tools work so much better with narcissistic people than they do with more aware people, as far as I'm concerned. What I've seen so far happening is that the problem is this: narcissistic people, bullies, they are always learning these tools to be messing with your mind. That is one of the reasons it's unfair that as targets we have to learn all of this. The thing is this: they are already learning these tools to be messing with your mind. So one reason you need to learn them is just like martial arts. You need to learn them so that you can protect yourself. They learn them to manipulate, you learn them to protect yourself and to protect others. That is the huge difference. So Chris Voss book, the group is Black Swan Group. You can look for their website. There's plenty of fabulous stuff. So, and it's been helping friends. I've been helping lots of people with these recently. These tools have been working like magic with certain situations at work. Yes.
All right. So I believe, Amber, what's important is to be, first of all, to prioritize self growth. self-awareness and self-development. Once we focus on these areas, we focus on ourselves, the focus is on ourselves, and we've matured a bit, then it makes so much of sense. Then we have equipped ourselves um, in dealing with such bullies, narcissistic bullies, and people who are psychopaths, sociopaths. So
Yeah.
I think we should be the center of evolution. We should be the center of our growth. So what do
Yeah.
you say? What do you say? What do you say? How does it? How does it? Because sometimes we feel that we are mature. Oh, we know these things, and we are able to see that they are acting funny, and it's really it really is very kiddish sometimes. So how do you go out there and tell them that, look, you need to mature, look, you need to just grow up a bit and focus on yourself. And
You never confront a bully, you never tell a bully what they need to do, especially if you have realized that they are a narcissist. Okay, it's very important you recognize the difference between if he is a bully, just a bully, or if he's a narcissist. Because narcissists are dangerous, very dangerous people. Remember the film, gosh, I don't remember the title in Italian was In Bed with the Enemy. It was a film from the 80s, 90s, where this woman, she's married to this narcissist who is out to kill her, actually. I'll find it, and I'll find the title and send it to you. Narcissists are extremely dangerous. You can find all the information you need on narcissists on YouTube. My favorite is Dr. Ramani, because she's really like down to earth, compassionate, yes, but no bullshit. Excuse my French. Right? She's like really compassionate, and at the same time, no nonsense, because you have to keep yourself, you have to keep your family safe. These people are dangerous, and if they could, they would kill you. If they could do it and get away with it, some of them really would do that. We cannot live in this world where it's all peace and love and ignore the dangers. It's so important that we keep everyone, even the narcissists, safe. That's why I named that group ethical chameleons, because we morph in order to keep everything safe. We're coming from a place of ethics. I mean, even hostage negotiators, they are negotiating with the kidnapper, not to become best friends with the kidnapper, but to keep everyone alive, if possible. Then if it's no longer possible, then you have to go to more extreme measures. So that is one thing that is so important. We don't water things down. See things as they are. Imagine worst case scenario. Keep that worst case scenario present, and refuse to accept it until you have thoroughly explored. Now, thoroughly explore can happen like in a blink of an eye. I use a thing that I call narc bait. By the way, accusations audits are fantastic tool to use as narc bait, narcissistic bait, because you give the other person a perceived vulnerability. You will know a narcissist from someone who is who is just like a bully. Well, a bully will do this too, probably, but you will know a narcissist immediately, because you give the narcissist a perceived, you give the person you are talking to, like you and me, Sadna, last time, when I said to you on that Q&A that you were having with Mr. Sharma, practically, I said, I need to send you all of the people who speak Hindi, because I don't speak that language. And you said, no, Amber, are both life coaches. Like, you tried to save me from my perceived weakness, right? So that's what a decent down-to-earth person does. Whereas a narcissist is like, yeah, you're really worth nothing. You're really no good with people. That's what a narcissist response would have been. So if you give them perceived weakness, I love coming in and say, hey, people, I'm going to sound really stupid here. The first person who says to me, yeah, that really was a stupid question, I know who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a bully. I'm dealing with someone who is not my friend. So you give them a perceived weakness. There's so many ways you can do this. You can tell them something like, oh, I have such a headache today. And they'll be like, oh, get over it. You know, something like that. You can lure them out in so many ways where you want to do this with something that does not really hurt you. Never give people you give people stuff that your story, you know, the value journey Lisa Nichols taught us, right?
Yeah.
You give people your darkest moments only after you are standing on top of your story. Once you've won that story, you are wearing those scars like a badge. It doesn't hurt you. So you can share those hurts with other people because you've overcome it. Never give a narcissist something that you are struggling with right now, because they will tear you to pieces.
Yeah.
And it does hurt. We can lie to ourselves as much as we want. It does hurt. So to avoid as much pain as possible, but then still the most important thing is, who am I going to be? That's the one question you want to always ask yourself. Who am I? Who is Ranjita? Ranjita, is that how you say your name? Did I say it right? Okay. A loving person, a caring person, or is she someone who will take advantage of the first time someone is down to kick them in the face? Now, here's the beautiful part. If until yesterday, if until this morning, I was the kind of person who, because of my hurt, I was kicking other people, I can choose to not be that person anytime I want. I can choose to be a better person, even if I don't feel like it, because it is the right thing to do. Now, I don't feel love towards the person, like, you know, my neighbors. I don't feel very much love towards my neighbors, right? And Sadhna knows all about my neighbors, how they were bullying me. They were terrible. When I was working at the hospital last year, this family comes in and they have the papers for the appointment. And I look at the papers, I say, oh no, I'm so sorry, you're in the wrong place. You need to go downtown over this other address. Here, let me show you. I pull out the map. I show them everything. And these people are staring at me like, you know who those people were? My neighbors. Yes, they attacked me. Yes, they slandered me. Yes, they tried they did a whole bunch of horrible things to me. They showed up at the hospital. I could have treated them like crap. I could have dismissed them. I could have given them false information. That's not who I am. I serve love. I was always wearing that bracelet that Ajit and Nita sent me back in 2019. Serve love. Every day I was going to work, I was putting that on. Serve love. I serve love, no matter who you are. You can be my worst enemy. I will serve love. And if you choose to shoot me in the face or shoot me in the back, that's on you. That does not define me. That defines you. So dealing with bullies in the workplace, this does not mean that you will win. This does not mean that you will keep your job. This does not mean that they will start loving you. This does not, you win because you keep leveling up and you keep defeating those monsters.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said, Amber. So, who am I is the first question. Who am I? Strive to answer that question and continuously level up. That's what I get from your, talk. And always have a professional statement where, when it comes to workplace bullying, we're talking about workplace. Have professional mission statement. Always keep upgrading yourself and keep on having better and better standards for yourself. So
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful insight, Amber. Wonderful. So anybody else? Last one question, if we can. One question, if we can take from any one of you, Ritika,
Actually, I
Kajal.
couldn't complete my question that time. No, I just
Yes.
went out of network.
Hmm.
Yes, yes. I was asked. I just was wondering that often when you have to your the 90% of your day goes, you have to sit with those people. You know that they are bullying you. They are continuously trying to take you down. So practically we know everything. A lot of things we know. But what is the most practical advice you would like to give to get over this? Because we are all humans after all. When 90% time we all cannot struggle, sometimes we forget the good things that we have learned, the good things that we have read. But the 90% time you are going in and out of the chamber of that particular person, you just feel that, oh, I want to be in peace. I want to give it up all. And particularly when you don't need to earn for your living, you are just earning for your passion. So that, what is the most practical advice that you would like to give?
For as much as depends on you, the peace, you have to find a way to have the peace inside of you no matter what. Those people are attacking you. Yes, you have to be on guard. Like at the hospital, I had this very violent colleague who was threatened to beat me up and land me in orthopedics for more than a month. He actually threatened this. And so I was shaking. When I was going in, I was shaking. So I would power pose. I would listen to music, like going in, I would power pose before. Luckily, I did not work with him the whole time, but for those minutes that we had together, because we were exchanging shifts, I would power pose before going in. Even when I was in the workplace, I was power posing. He didn't know that I was power posing. I was just standing like this all the time, stand straight like Wonder Woman. Okay, head high. And even if you're shaking, you don't let that on. You keep looking forward. You learn, the black swan never split the difference language helps so much with these kind of people, especially if you have to work with them all day. You up level your communication so that they cannot, they used to throw at you doesn't hurt you anymore, but it's work from inside out. So it takes ongoing process, and for as positive peers is so important. If you, like me, you do not have many positive peers around you, you have to find a way to have positive peers. Spend as much time as you can with people who build you up, even if those people who build you up are YouTube videos, even if it's only that. Okay, like Tony Robbins. Depending on the day, I will listen to Tony Robbins. I will listen to Lisa Nichols. I will listen to whoever it is that really helps me build me up and put a strategy in place. And then you make the plan for how you will show up. You say, okay, if this happens to me, like you see the worst case scenario, like, okay, what will I do if this happens? If this happens, I will respond like this. If this happens, I will respond like that. And you rehearse it. You rehearse it in your mind as well. And in the beginning, it's difficult. Then with time it gets better. This month I am not doing them. I'm not hosting the sessions. Starting October again, I will be hosting the free negotiation practice sessions. Free negotiation practice sessions on Zoom call where we meet together and we learn, like we see someone's situation and we come up together with ideas how to respond to that situation using these tools. Like I said before, the accusations audits, for example. Another situation that happened some time back, there was one person on one of my Zoom calls who was making fun of me because I had promised to get these videos, like the Zoom calls are videotaped and then sent to the people who have been on the video call. And the thing is that my computer was clogged up, everything's clogged up, and I have this, the hard disk was clogged up. So what happens? This person tries to bully me on my call. So she comes in trying to bully me where on the free session I am offering her, she's like, oh, would you be opposed to us helping you right now? Go online and order a new hard disk. So it just came automatic. My response, I would have never responded like this before. I'm like, oh, sounds like you want to contribute? She's like, no, I'm just practicing the tools, you know? Lady, move on, you know? Like you learn to respond in ways where you are sure of yourself, you change your tonality, you learn all of these ways to interact with these bullies. You might also want to consider leaving the place where you are, depending on your situation. You might want to consider changing changing where you are, or else waiting until they kick you out, but still coming from a place of, I will contribute the best I can contribute. In that
again
book,
is like,
excuse me?
no. Like you were saying, na, leaving the place, but that that I would not like to do. I would like to win over. You know, I would like to win the fight, because leaving means there is no guarantee that the next place will not offer me some other challenges. Challenges are always there, so I would like to win the fight. Isn't
Very
it?
important. Yes, there's that's the other thing. When you have been victim of abuse of any sort, it's almost like, I don't know how else to express this. It's almost as if you have this scent. You smell a victim, and the bully smells it like a shark smells blood. Yeah. So you have to win the fight inside yourself. Now that workplace 9 years of bullying, I came up with a plan. I saw the problems. I knew how I could help fix them. I did my best. What they did, they found a way to get rid of me. So they lost. They lost. Why did they lose? Because they came up with a corrupt way of getting rid of me. They bribed various people to declare false things to get rid of me. So they lost. I stood in my integrity. So even though they kicked me out, I lost the job. Yes, it's been difficult since I lost the job. It's been difficult to find another job because you know how nowadays they send out alerts, hey, don't hire this person. That's how bad it gets. Still, when you can learn to step into your integrity and keep building yourself up, this is going to be a long journey. Be prepared for the journey. Accept that it's a long journey and be determined to be the best you, no matter what, to win in the long run.
Awesome. Wonderful. So level up, and I think more than level up your game. That's the best thing to do. Be the best in the room. You know, be the best person, the most professional and most person who's most talented there, and the smartest in the room, just be that, and definitely they will never be able to overpower you or compete with you. So
Yes.
just being the best in whatever we do. I
Mhm.
think that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it come from a place of having solid principles in your life. That's what I love so much about Stephen Covey, because he guides you to make all of your make your mission statement based on principles, not based on what other people think of me, not based on what my spouse thinks, not based on money, not based on the perceived success the world invents around us, because success and failure are the two faces of the same imposter. That's from Rudyard Kipling. If you can meet failure and success and treat these two imposters exactly the same. So take courage. It's going to be a battle.
Always.
And you can win this.
So Kajal, do you have any
Yes.
questions? There's Kajal, who's young professional. Kajal, do you have any questions? All right. All right. It looks
Okay.
like.
Okay. Sadhna, it has been such a great honor for you to have invited me. And I have to tell you something. Last week, when you invited me to come and speak, I was not only very physically sick, I was once again down and out thanks to bullying. Yes. So this is the second time this year that you come to my rescue.
Thank you so much.
And you can't do this on purpose because we don't know.
Yes, yes.
Actually, this is the third time this year, because there's been you, there's been Raya, there's been you again. It's like all of my ladies from India. Mwah.
So yeah, we certain values that we hold, Indian values, that never change.
Yes, really. That is another thing. Ladies and anyone else watching this, if you have not done the course me and Sadhna did, I highly recommend that one. Speak and Inspire by Lisa Nichols on Mindvalley. I highly recommend that one.
It was a life-changing course. Yeah, very.
Yes, and you make such wonderful friends like Sadhna.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me. I am available to anyone who has any questions anytime. If you have a situation, you are very welcome to send me a message over Facebook or anything.
So do you have any link that you can share here on chat, Amber? Can you share the chat link or
any links that I can share? Links such as, for example,
To contact you, Amber.
how to connect with you?
Oh,
Or
to
you can write your full name so that wherever we can, it's possible we can access you. Like LinkedIn, Amber Katrina is not your full name. There's more to your name. And
on
all those
LinkedIn.
names, if you can just type out here on chat, then we can just go and search for it and
right.
connect it.
So, just a second. So here is my second. So here's the chat. So here is my fake book profile. Fake book. And LinkedIn. Where is it? Give me LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Kind of slow. I did not have these handles yet. So here's the second. And here is my LinkedIn. There you go. I am actually putting together a new group on Facebook. It's a free practice session group for victims of bullying. For people who are victims of bullying alone, not for the traditional negotiations. Also because most negotiators are kind of cutthroat. So it's like people who are victims of workplace bullying or any kind of abuse, they need a safe space where they are like truly safe, not like these huge situations where anyone can be coming in. So if anyone would like to join that exclusive group, we can talk about it face to face first, so we know what the situation is. And this is absolutely free of charge. This is like my way of giving back to the world. And yes.
Thank you, Amber. That's great service from your end. All right, thank you for coming and being so graceful and so beautiful and so knowledgeable that you are, and sharing yourself with us today in the evening here. Thank you on this festive season in India. Thank you for being here again. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, beautiful people, and namaste.